Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTrading.com. It is 9:20 in the morning on November 14th, and there's a lot to talk about. I titled this video "Huge Move in Oil Overnight." Here is the next upside target. So we'll go over that, but also Perry said he was long Nasdaq. I am also long Nasdaq going into the open. There's plenty to go over, but I'll start off with the oil markets. And oil's just going to be a less volatile contract. Just for those of you guys, I mean, we're going to be entering some extreme volatility probably today, and we even had some yesterday. You're talking 100 plus point 5 minute bars, which can make, you definitely have to size down, maybe switch, um, into micros if you're trading minis, etc. But oil, really, I don't know if there was news or something, but this was quite the move here last night. It was $1.58, and then we came full halfway back. But just on this daily time frame, I want to show you guys, we've been in this downward trajectory, I guess you could say, in CL, and then there was this sweeping move higher out of the beginning of this current contract, and then the halfway back long traded. Uh, Here we go. We traded it initially on the 6. There was an attempt to break out and then this huge move lower here. And now we're kind of reverting back above. So if we can clear this 60.36, I'm thinking this top line trend line breakout, like if I go like this here, that we are eventually going to get all the way up to a $64 target. I think that'll be a pretty clean move. Like if you remember when the oil did break out starting October 21st, higher, this was a very technical, very fast move. And I think there's a possibility we see something similar. And well, I'm pointing that out because when you do have those clean, fast breaks higher, it was gold earlier this year, it was oil for a few days. It's a very technical, easy trade. And that's why you need to pay attention to it, especially if we start breaking out. Now, we rotated all the way down into this full halfway back long. So the lows of the week on Thursday to that overnight high. That upside target is 67, 61 quarter. So what you'd want to look for is a break above this level here at 60.37. If we can start clearing 60.37, and this may take a day to brew, we may still consolidate back and forth between what is the 59.43 and 59.28. But what you'll notice after that rally last night, the overnight low was that daily long setup. That was 59.28. Okay, that's not a coincidence. And that corresponds with our upside target that is all the way up at $64 plus. I am long oil as well right now. I wouldn't look quite just yet for a new entry, but if we take out that overnight high, I would start drawing halfway backs from the lows of today. But oil is going to be something you're going to want to pay attention to if this can continue. Usually when you see an extremely aggressive move like we had in oil last night that pulls back into a traditional, it's something that your eyes should gravitate towards, and it's a market that you should pay attention to, in my opinion. And then going on to gold, so kind of going in the reverse here, we are all the way back at the retest of the breakout that we had really last week on the 10th of November. Now, the retest of the breakout here, you could also argue, I believe that this is with inside of the full 50% retracement. I believe the low is a 61 stick of this giant move here. We stuck the 61 retest of a breakout on the smaller time frame. We're technically still in shorts, but we're about to, it looks like, break them. The most aggressive series breaks at a 40-63s. That's where the most aggressive series here in CL would break. Of course, there's many different variations because of the aggressiveness of this overnight move, but pay attention to if we break above a 40-63, if we can start basing here this, or if gold, does turn around back to the upside, this target would be a 40 332. Now, opposing that, let's pay attention to the other side of things. We had this 50% retracement short last night. We basically tagged a 61 and then rolled over. But what I would be looking for, we're down at that negative 100. I would just take this traditional here out of this low and then draw the 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. last night, low to low, and expect a move up to 4,100. If we build support here, I expect to move up to 4,100 probably today, if not definitely at Sunday, and then a base between 4,100 to 4,075. So I am also long gold here, but just looking for I'm looking for smaller targets. I'm not stretching for anything just quite yet. I'm basically just trying to bang out, a 10 points or 15, 20 points at a time, uh, and as opposed to holding longer term. But I still can hold a longer term time frame bias here. Moving on to the indexes. Now, we're at a pretty important level in the NASDAQ. And if we don't hold it, we're eventually going to have deeper pullbacks. So if you guys remember overnight session last week, we had that huge V bottom out of this low, and then we ran up, and still that higher time frame target, that 25,986, that's definitely creating selling pressure. If we break below this 50%, it's a 24,712s, then basically go out to those levels Perry was paying attention to. The bottom of, I think he called it I forgot what he had, some funny name. It was like a phony bar, or a dork bar or something like that. But yeah, the bottom of this range is probably we will eventually go before basing. But we have been really technical to the downside. Now, yesterday, of course, the entry short I took, I took a stab long. That was not the trade. I was still able to save the trade, and then I flipped into shorts. It was that lower mid, okay, that lower mid, as well as the VWAP and a traditional. So I guess that's something we can look for in the future. If we got a lower mid VWAP next measured move short, probably should pay attention to it. But that just stuck and just absolutely slammed off of that market, or off of that high. And then we began extensions from that 930 low, and that is something that traded overnight. Two targets were through that negative 100. Best case scenario for bears, which is an unusual trade sequence to happen, would be yesterday's low to low. This is the most aggressive extension you could look for. The 245 low drawn to the current low would be something to potentially pay attention to, but I do think we will eventually pop back up into the 945 low to low if I were to guess, but we very well could just be extremely aggressive here to the downside. But this morning I would expect a rotation probably fairly swiftly up into the 24,829. And then just remember, as long as we're downtrending here, whatever these lower mids are, until we can at least get a daily close back above them, you're going to want to just appreciate them as resistance levels, when we get up there. Now, I think that's always when we're below lower mids in the indexes, it's kind of a gravitational pull where I expect us to snap back up to them almost every single day, but that doesn't mean we're going to snap back up to them right off the open. But I do believe at some point today we will touch this lower mid, which we haven't yet. We didn't trade it all overnight, so just be aware of 67.48. If we do see some pretty hard evidence of buyers coming into this market and taking control, at least temporarily, that would be something to potentially aim for, that 67.48. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of the overnight inventory to squeeze up into these next levels here for the NASDAQ. And then for the S&P 500, as Barry mentioned, we haven't taken out that swing low that we saw. I do think we eventually will, but we're going to be looking at that same sequence. This negative 100, if we make one new low in the ES, I definitely expect it to revert off that level. That would be the negative 100 of the traditional traded overnight. We're going to draw that same anchor new low. Ideally, that's probably the best trade setup if we can get it. That same anchor new low, 67.47, half is also the lower mid. it's also the lower mid. So we got about 1 minute till the open here. We'll see what we do. That level's a bit above us. 67.31 is going to be 67.31 is going to be the 38 of that draw. So that's what I got here. We'll see what we do. Alrighty. What the heck? What? I don't know what just happened. I'm having something's going on with my computer. What the hell? What in the world? My whole computer just like resized and changed windows and what the no, how in the world did that just happen? What the you guys sorry, I don't know what's going on right now. Like everything on my computer just resized. And it's quite obnoxious. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to shut down the stream. I'll jump on the Discord, but something just happened to my computer. I have no idea what happened.